Yes.
But that Dicamba issue still remains next year. Project.
So if I hear your question, that if basically if 2018 turns out to be similar to 2017 in the Dicamba issue in South Dakota, you know, what do we see going forward? And that's a very good question, and that's in how we work through the label in South Dakota. You know, we didn't make as many state-specific label changes as, say, North Dakota or Minnesota did. We didn't put a drop-dead date, at least yet, in South Dakota, as our neighbors did. Even though the federal label says it's, you know, R1, so when soybeans get to basically when they start flowering, they enter the reproductive stage, you're going to be off label if you spray past that point. Whereas there was a lot of July applications last year. So there's some things that are restricted down, but if we start seeing the same issues, and we're going to be monitoring the southern states as things come forward. This past year in 17, we were watching what was going on down in some of the southern states. You know, we were seeing some issues down there early May, mid-May, you know, well before even applications started up here on post-emergence applications in South Dakota. If we don't see a vast change due to some of the more restrictions through all the education efforts, through the manufacturers and others to walk through basically how this technology, you know, on the seed side is much different than it was on the Roundup side, and how when we're using the chemistry in conjunction with that, how we have to treat them much differently. And I think that kind of caught people by surprise, off guard a little bit in 17. If we don't see things changing, we have the ability to step in at any point in time and further restrict or shut down sale and application of the products in South Dakota. But I don't know that we'll have to do that, but we're definitely prepared to if we need to go there.
So you could ban the use of Dicamba season if you see problems down south?
Yeah, we can. You know what? And that's any label. We can pull any label, you know, at any time if we see the need and the concern for it. Yeah. You know, I hope that we don't have to go that far, that we can keep the tool available to producers, but we also have to rely on a lot of understanding and common sense and looking at things a lot differently than I think we did in 2017. You know, and I know that the folks at the SDSU with the extension side have spent a lot of time looking at the weather-related stuff and working on some issues. And you know, if you look at it, how the restrictions are for weather, if you overlay that with an average or a typical weather pattern in June, July, May time, focusing in on June when the majority of the applications will get made on the pull side here, you know, it is pretty restrictive. And you know, as a producer, you know, I have to look at it, and I hope every other producer in the state does too, that I can't just intend on spraying a Dicamba tolerant product at post on 100% of my acres. It's just not going to be possible with South Dakota weather. And so hopefully that there's a lot more thought in alternative weed control programs, pre-programs, and other options. If the weather is not conducive to application of it, you need to have another plan in place.